Alright guys, let's get the really bad news out of the way. First, Issa Abdul-Quddus has been released by the Miami Dolphins. He was informed that he can no longer play football because of his neck injury that he sustained against the Buffalo Bills, which is super sad news, and it sucks for both parties, and it's terrible. It really is. And another bad piece of news is Deion Sims has moved on to the Chicago Bears, which really sucks. They paid him like receiving tight end money. I think that's one of the reasons we could not retain him, is because he went for the bigger paycheck there, which is fine. I can completely understand that. Alright, so let's move on to some good news. Some really good news. Anthony Fasano has finally returned to the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, if you're a hardcore Dolphins fan, you've been a fan for 10 plus years, you know who this guy is. He was with us for 5 years. 5 years he was with us. And he was a great tight end with us. He was Pro Football Reference's best blocking tight end this past season. He was a big reason why the Tennessee Titans had that monster rushing attack. And he was a great player with the Kansas City Chiefs. He signed a 1-year deal worth around $3 million, I think. It's great. It's a great 1-2 punch with him now and Julius Thomas. It's just I love the signing, and he was one of my favorite players on the team for a very long time. Excuse me. And obviously he was a great safety blanket for Ryan Tannehill in his rookie year. They had a little connection going on. He was a great leader when he was with here, so he adds that. And I love what he said when he came to Miami. Obviously, when he re-signed, he's like, I want a shot at the Super Bowl. I want a shot at a deep playoff run, which is the confidence that everybody has in Adam Gase is just great. And I love it. I really love the signing, and I'm glad he's back. If you guys remember the one-handed touchdown against the San Francisco 49ers, Ryan's rookie year, so many good memories with Anthony, and I'm just glad he's back. And some other good Dolphins news: the Miami Dolphins have retained Kiko Alonso, Damian Williams, and Michael Thomas. They are going to be Miami Dolphins this upcoming season. We placed free. What happens is when you're a restricted free agent, which means if another team signs you, they have to give up something. We put a first-round tender on Kiko, so obviously nobody's going to do that. And we put, I can't remember what on the other guys, Michael and Damien, I can't remember. So they are going to be Miami Dolphins, which is great news. And again, great news. We're really keeping our own, and keeping our own news, we move on to Reshad Jones, who got paid. If anybody deserved to be paid, it was Reshad Jones, and he got a 5-year deal. A 5-year deal, I think he's going to get paid around $12 million a year, which is just great news. If anybody on this football team to get paid, deserved to be paid, it was Reshad Jones. Reshad Jones is one of the best players in the NFL. He's the best safety in the league. I don't even think it's close. We saw Eric Berry get paid. Thank God Reshad got paid, because he would have went somewhere else and had a Hall of Fame caliber career, because he's such a great player, and he really is one of the more underrated players in the NFL. He can play anywhere on the football field. He can do everything. He can play linebacker at a high level. We've seen him do that. He can play, obviously, in my opinion, the best safety in the league. He can drop down to strong free. It doesn't matter. He's one of the best safeties in the league. It's just great news that we're going to have him. Let's move on to other great news, and obviously the Julius Thomas trade finally went through, and I was very critical of this trade in the beginning because of the injury history, and I think it's a great trade. I really do. I've changed my mind. You guys, in the comment section below, changed my mind on it. He does. The upside is so there, and obviously in this news, we did reconstruct his contract to a 2-year, $12 million deal, which is great news. And even if he did get hurt and couldn't play for the rest of the season, it would affect us. Now that Deion Sims is gone and Anthony's a little bit older, it would affect us in terms of receiving tight end. But I don't think he's. And when you really look into it, he actually started 9 games. Was it 9 games last season or something like that? So he, in the other previous year of that, was 8. So it's not like he's missing, or I think it was even more than that. I think it was like 10 or 12 games he played last season. So people overplay the injury history there, but he has had an injury history, and I don't think he's going to be injured. He's going to have a limited snap count with us. And I don't think he's going to have the same problems he had in Jacksonville. So that's, and obviously he's one of the best players at putting the ball in the paint. He's probably the best at it. He's definitely in the top 3. And it's a great trade, and it's just great news. So moving on from that, the Miami Dolphins have also signed Ted Larsen, the guard from the Chicago Bears. Obviously, he is a very good guard. He's a good guard. He's a solid guard in the NFL. What he's best at is run blocking, and we saw that when he was blocking for Jordan Howard last season. He was a big part of that success, the success of that rushing attack. And he adds a veteran presence there on a solid run blocker, which is great news for us. We finally got our guard to fill. I'm assuming he's going to fill Laramie's spot. And moving on from that, the Miami Dolphins, in targeting news and visiting news, the Miami Dolphins had Jabal Sheard visit today, actually Thursday. Jabal Sheard is one of the most, if we did pick him up, he's very underrated. He had 5 sacks last season. He gets a lot of pressures on the quarterback. He had 8 sacks his first year with New England. He's one of the best situational pass rushers in the NFL, and he would add that depth at defensive end that we need. He would just be an outstanding signing. And in other great news, the Miami Dolphins, this is some awesome news actually. The Miami Dolphins are trying to schedule a visit with Dont'a Hightower, which is great news. And obviously if we added Dont'a Hightower, that would be a tremendous upgrade from what we had last season. Dont'a Hightower, obviously one of the best young linebackers in the NFL. He's obviously, he's just a beast. He's just an absolute beast. He's a great blitzer. He's a physical, imposing player. He sets the tone. He's a tone setter. He's great against the run. That's what he's the best at. He's great at getting after the quarterback, like I just said. And he's just a great linebacker. And it would be awesome if we got him. If we took him away from the New England Patriots, that would be awesome. Okay, so moving on from that, we are also trying to set up a visit with Zac Brown, who, in my opinion, in Pro Football Reference, is actually the second best linebacker in free agency. Obviously, went to a Pro Bowl this past season. Obviously, he was an alternate, but that's still pretty impressive. Zac Brown, not a very famous player, and I think he deserved to go to the Pro Bowl just in general. He had a 100-plus tackle season. He's the best coverage linebacker in free agency. He's the most athletic, and he's a ball hawk, man. And he's a great blitzer, too. Another thing is he's a great, he can get after the quarterback. And if we somehow were able to get Dont'a and Zach, that would be great. Our linebacker core would be, legitimately him, both of those guys, and Kiko Alonso, one of the best in the NFL. We went from the worst to the best. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty dang impressive, if we can somehow get those two. And I think that's all the news. Okay, we have one more piece of news. The Miami Dolphins are targeting special teams standout, and he's a very good special teams player for the Denver Broncos, Kayvon Webster. We're targeting him, obviously, to add secondary depth and for him to compete for a job, and also Dan Rizzi loves his special team players. So that's great news. And the Miami Dolphins are scheduled to visit defensive back Nate Allen, who's been a very ball-hawking, solid role player in the NFL for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Oakland Raiders. He actually picked up 2 interceptions last season, so that's great news. Overall, great news. Overall, some really solid. This plan that we have of not overspending for big guys, it's awesome. Keeping our own, adding players that are very underrated, like Anthony Fasano, hopefully Jabal Sheard, Ted Larsen, not paying for a guard for 60, like a Zach Zeitler who just got $60 million from the Browns. I love it. I love our plan so far. It's going great. And obviously with the setup visits of Lawrence Timmons, Zac Brown, and Dont'a Hightower, hopefully we can get, obviously Zac Brown and Dont'a Hightower not set in stone yet, but if we can get visits with those guys and try to sign them, and Lawrence Timmons obviously is visiting Friday, that's just great news, and I love the direction we're going in, and this team's just getting better and better every day, and I'm super excited. So let me know what you guys think. That was your Miami Dolphins news. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys think about the news, and I'm Skexter1083, and I'll see you guys in the next one.